Good and evil are fundamental concepts shaping human morality and ethical systems. They define our actions, beliefs, and relationships with others. But are these notions absolute truths existing beyond time and space, or are they products of social, cultural, and personal circumstances? At first glance, the idea of the absoluteness of good and evil seems appealing. In many religions, such as Christianity, Islam, or Buddhism, good and evil are defined through divine law or spiritual principles. For instance, the commandments in the Bible outline universal principles. Do not kill, do not steal, love your neighbor. These moral norms are often considered immutable, providing moral certainty and societal stability. However, even within religious systems, interpretations of good and evil can change. Some actions deemed sinful in the past may be perceived differently today. This indicates that even absolute principles are subject to cultural and social influences. On the other hand, the relativist approach argues that good and evil depend on context. What is good for one culture might be evil for another. For example, the practice of euthanasia is seen as an act of mercy in some countries and as a sin in others. The same applies to issues like capital punishment, women's rights, or vegetarianism. Different cultures have distinct moral evaluations of these topics. Sociology and cultural anthropology confirm that moral norms reflect societal values and needs. In primitive societies, group survival was the primary goal, so good was defined by actions that supported this survival. Modern society, focused on individualism and human rights, has different criteria for good and evil. The philosophy of existentialism also questions the absoluteness of moral norms. Jean-Paul Sartre argued that individuals create their values through freedom of choice. Good and evil do not exist until we define them through our actions. From this perspective, morality is subjective and depends on personal responsibility. Ethical dilemmas arising in real life further challenge the universality of good and evil. For instance, is it right to sacrifice one life to save many? Situations like the trolley problem highlight the complexity of clear-cut distinctions between right and wrong. Despite this, many thinkers emphasize that certain moral principles have universal validity. For example, the prohibition of torture or human trafficking is recognized by most modern societies as absolute evil. These values underpin international law and human rights. The problem lies in the fact that the absoluteness of good and evil often clashes with reality, where circumstances play a decisive role. For example, in wartime, actions considered crimes in peacetime might be justified as the lesser evil. This shows that morality is flexible and context-dependent. Psychology also plays a crucial role in discussions about good and evil. Research shows that people often act not based on moral principles, but under the influence of emotions, circumstances, or biological instincts. For instance, in stressful situations, we might commit actions that contradict our notions of good and evil. Thus, the question of whether good and evil are absolute or relative remains open. Absoluteness provides stability and allows for the formation of moral systems, while relativity acknowledges the complexity and diversity of human experience. Perhaps the truth lies in the combination of these two approaches. Good and evil may have universal foundations, but their application always depends on circumstances and cultural context. Thank you for watching.